Hello and welcome, one and all, to your Kingsport Chamber Zone, the award-winning Kingsport Chamber Zone, the show that's all about your Kingsport area Chamber of Commerce in this great community of Kingsport. She's my good friend and co-host and annual dinner partner, Laura Steele, an exceptional attorney with the law firm of Hunter, Smith & Davis.
And he is my great friend, co-host, and annual dinner planner extraordinaire, Bob Biggins with the Kingsport Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Bob.
It's good to see you, Laura.
It's good to see you as well. Now, where are we today? We
are at Bonfire Smokehouse. That's why we're both a little bit more excited than normal for taking our show, because we love the restaurant stops.
Food.
Bonfire Smokehouse is quickly becoming a popular restaurant, not only in downtown Kingsport, but in all of Kingsport and the entire Tri-Cities. It's located in this beautiful and charming historic building on Main Street across the street from your Kingsport Chamber. They've got an absolutely incredible menu here. They offer catering. They're expanding next door. They're going to be doing some stuff upstairs, and we're going to tell you all about this wonderful restaurant, Bonfire Smokehouse, with one of the partners here in just a minute.
And Bonfire Smokehouse is just one example of these great restaurants that we see opening up all across downtown Kingsport. We also see a lot of new retail that's coming to downtown Kingsport as well, which has turned downtown Kingsport into a dining and retail destination for people all across the Tri-Cities and even beyond. We're going to talk to two of the individuals who've had a large hand in that to talk not only about what they have going on here at Bonfire, but all the other great things that are going on in downtown Kingsport.
There's also a lot of entertainment options in downtown Kingsport, our show notwithstanding. But there are a lot of good entertainment options that are coming to downtown. But speaking of entertainment, sadly, get ready for a tear.
I'm trying to hide the smile.
Your Kingsport Chamber 62nd Annual Dinner has drawn to a close. It was another incredible night, over 1,500 people.
It was
there.
fabulous.
A big highlight that night was the passing of the gavel from the outgoing to the incoming Kingsport Chamber chair. I'm speaking of Tom Sebelhorst, who's with Domtar. He's the outgoing chair. And Julie Bennett with Bristol Motor Speedway is your new chair of your Kingsport Chamber. Tom and Julie are going to join us in just a few minutes to talk about all the incredible growth and development that has been occurring in Kingsport over the last few years and where we're headed as a community.
Speaking of where we're headed, I guess, have you started promos already for the 63rd annual dinner?
There's our first tease. See, I knew we'd work it into the show somehow. We'll work it into every show, I can assure you of that. First Friday in February 2010. Go ahead and mark it down.
I can't wait. I just can't wait. But as Bob's already alluded to, we have so many things going on and we have some wonderful guests. But before we get to them, we need to let you know what's going on in Kingsport. So here is your latest Kingsport Chamber highlight.
And your next Kingsport Chamber 4th Friday breakfast is set for Friday, February 27th at 7:15 a.m. at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. The very popular and growing event is free and provides a great opportunity to network with other Kingsport business professionals and civic leaders. To RSVP, call your Kingsport Chamber at 392-8800. We're now pleased to be joined by our host for today's show. Jeff Lane is one of the co-partners here at Bonfire Smokehouse. He's also one of the co-partners with AdaptCore, the company that's largely responsible for so much growth and development occurring in downtown Kingsport. Jeff, as always, it's good to see you. Thanks for hosting us.
It's great to see you guys, too.
We always love bringing the show to one of your restaurants. We should also mention that Jeff is also a partner with Kingsport Grocery Company. So we love the restaurant taping.
It means we get food.
Yes, absolutely.
I've
hopefully lots of it.
In the back.
Oh, there we go. So we'll move through this quickly so we can get to it.
Exactly.
But tell us about Bonfire Smokehouse, because it is quickly becoming one of the popular restaurants, not only in downtown, but in all of the Tri-Cities.
Well, Bonfire is truly different than anything you could find anywhere in this area. I like to call it a soul food restaurant, barbecue restaurant. The term smoked southern fare is what I like to call most of the food here. We do a lot of things that have extra flavor. So it's not for the faint of heart by any means, but it's not your typical barbecue joint by any means.
Which is one of the reasons I'm glad we're waiting until after we've taped everything before we have the close quarters and all that good stuff. Jeff, you have really quite a unique menu here at Bonfire as well. I mean, sometimes when you hear barbecue, people just think of maybe the ribs, and that's it. But you all have a wide variety of things on the menu.
Well, as far as the meats go, we do, of course, the baby back ribs, which are all smoked in brown sugar. It's really good.
And I've had them. They're wonderful. I know
we
it.
did the crazy rib sauces. Actually, this weekend we have a new blueberry chipotle rib sauce that we're going to unveil. But we do smoked brisket, beef brisket. We do smoked chickens, smoked turkey, smoked portobello mushrooms, and just tons of really cool sides. We even smoke our baked beans here.
Everything's smoked.
Everything smells great and tastes great, even better. And you're always seems like you're always adding to your menu here because you are very creative here, and you're always bringing new elements into it. It seems like
we like to keep things interesting, and what we've started learning to do is do things seasonally. What works better in the summer, what works better in the winter. Like right now, we're not featuring the cucumber salad, but we've just added on our new our new roasted baby bakers, which is a miniature roasted baked potato that we deep fry and then roll in coarse ground salt and pepper. And it's fantastic, very good.
Wow.
Make a note, we'll need to try that after the show too,
Yeah.
if we can get through all the items. Now we should mention Bonfire Smokehouse, located on Main Street in downtown Kingsport, right down the street from the Kingsport Grocery Company. But in addition to people being able to come here and dine, you also offering great catering options for people's next parties. Tell about that.
Yeah, we've learned a lot about catering in the last year. We've done some really big ones. We did one that was over 900 people.
Oh, that's almost as big as the chamber dinner.
That's
almost.
right.
Hey, we can do that next year.
Almost as good as our fan club, you know.
Well, we do very large caterings now. We've really got the system down pat. We were just asked to come back again and do the Girls Inc. fundraiser this year. It's really one of the best ways to do a function because we can bring things out in bulk, and it's got such great flavor. And we only bring the kind of foods that hold well for caterings. We bring our smoker out, so we have like a heat box that comes with us. It's great. And
Send the smoke signals to bring the people in for the feed and everything.
Yeah.
And I've actually experienced a number of those catering options, and it is incredible. You do a great job.
Thank you.
It's worry-free, too.
Yeah, we start caterings at 30 people, 30 people and up. So, and people can get anything from, a regular pulled pork or pulled chicken style catering with baked beans and coleslaw. They can go all the way to ribs or sliced brisket or turkey or whatever.
30 people up, so that means...
That's more the speed of our fan club.
I was going to say, we need a few more people before we can ask you to cater our fan club meeting. Like about 25 more.
As Bob mentioned, you are located here on Main Street. You have one of the great storefronts along Main Street, and you're in a beautiful historic building. Talk about the atmosphere that's here.
Well, we like to keep things really simple and historic. When you look around the room, you see a lot of old paintings on the brick and concrete floors and wood ceilings. The ambience that we like to do in our concepts is the kind of ambience that lets people relax when they come in. We don't like anything stuffy. And you can see that when people eat here. They just really loosen up a little bit and get their fingers dirty.
Paper towels on the table.
Lots of rubbing sauce on themselves.
That's got to be true because normally I'm not relaxed when I'm around Laura. But for some reason today I am relaxed, so it must be the atmosphere here.
And we normally play either bluegrass music or blues in here at night. It's just really, really laid back, and that's what makes it special.
It is a great atmosphere.
That's right, and you're also expanding. We're going to talk about next door with our next guest, your other partners, in just a minute, but you're also doing work upstairs here at Bonfire. Tell us about that.
Yeah, upstairs is almost the same size as our dining room downstairs. We do have, the issue that we have upstairs is we're putting in a whole new floor, but the floor is going to be an old floor. We, as a lot of people know, we salvaged an old farmhouse and built the bars at Kingsport Grocery using the old doors and things. We have the floor out of that house as well, and it's like circa 1900. So it really fits the concept, and that's going to be upstairs, and that'll be either banquets, caterings, additionally, or overflow seating.
Great.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Jeff, tell us about where people can find more information on Bonfire.
Well,
and your catering.
Our partner Kanishka has just told me that our interactive website is almost ready. bonefiresmokehouse.com.
Apparently it's the mother of all websites.
That's right. That's what we're hearing.
Probably here very shortly, that would be the best place to get all the information. But you can always call here any day of the week, 239-RACK.
239-RACK.
RACK, like a rack of ribs.
Okay.
And catering is 578-2336. And that's talk to Leah Williams, and she'll give you any information about any large caterings or packages or whatever.
That's great. Well, so many great things going on, and Jeff, you and your partners, we're so thankful that you all have reinvested in Kingsport and opened up a great place like Bonfire. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
We look forward to more visits and more food is what we look forward to. And speaking of restaurants in downtown Kingsport, stay tuned because our next two guests are going to highlight some wonderful developments going on.
Enjoy the best in local entertainment every day on Charter Main Street. Find out how to feel better, how to look younger, Find the best places to dine or just enjoy the finest in high school and college sports. Just for you, every day on CMS.
And welcome back to your Kingsport Chamber Zone on location from Bonfire Smokehouse on Main Street in downtown Kingsport.
I love having these next two gentlemen on our show because they always talk about some exciting things that are going on in downtown Kingsport, mainly because they've been a large part of the impetus behind all of the development that we've seen in downtown Kingsport. And I'm talking about Kanishka Badanda and Doug Beatty, who are both co-partners with Adapt Core, as well as Kingsport Grocery Company, and of course our host today, Bonfire Smokehouse. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
It's so exciting to always have you on here. We've had so many restaurants and so much development going on downtown, and because of that, it's really become sort of an eating destination. Kanishka, talk to us about that.
Well, you're absolutely right. In the past 2 years, there's been such a growth in downtown, so much so that we have well over 25 restaurants in downtown. Downtown Kingsport has really become a dining destination in the Tri-Cities. So we spoke about Bonfire Smokehouse earlier. Other instances of that are right across the street on Main Street, next to the Chamber. Cafe New Orleans has actually moved there because they need to expand because of their phenomenal growth.
It's a great problem to have.
It is a wonderful problem. Over at Cafe New Orleans, you can experience things like a phenomenal jambalaya, their po' boys, really traditional New Orleans cafe type food. Down on the other side of Main Street, you have Kingsport Grocery Company. Kingsport Grocery Company is a 3-story building. The building was built in 1916, so it has a really historic feel to it. You can get great appetizers like a black bean hummus. You have a fresh soup of the day. And it's all centered around really their focal piece, which is their true New York style pizza. It's 18 inches wide, and it's just phenomenal. You have over 30 toppings to choose from. And
That's
of course,
enough for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, you got to plug the fried green beans too.
oh yeah, Bob, this is your favorite, the fried
yes.
green beans. Would love for everyone to check that out. It's a surprise in your mouth.
That's a great way to put it.
Yes, it is. That's how it's printed in the menu too. You know.
But we can't forget about Kingsport Grocery's beer list. It has the most extensive beer list in the Tri-Cities, offering well over 115 beers from around the world. Now down on Broad Street, opened up about 6 months ago, is Stir Fry Cafe. Now Stir Fry Cafe is available in Knoxville, Johnson City, and Asheville, and now we have it here in downtown Kingsport. They have a wonderful sushi and Asian fusion cuisine. Down the street from them on Broad Street is Cafe Blue. Cafe Blue is a fantastic place to go for breakfast or lunch. It's a bistro and coffee shop, and soon they'll be announcing that they'll be open at night for dinner. And so these are just a few examples. Like I said, that's only 4 or 5 restaurants out of well over 20 more. And so really, downtown has become a place where your viewers, when they're hungry in the evening or in the morning or at lunch, can just drive down to downtown and then look around at what kind of restaurants. There's basically something for everyone now.
Exactly. Every palate can be satisfied. And of course, one of the things that is, I guess, uncommon or maybe common about all the restaurants that you just highlighted is that we're not talking about chain restaurants. We're all talking about unique restaurants that are basically locally owned and operated in something that you're not going to be able to just go anywhere and find.
Well, Laura, that's absolutely correct. And that's a really important thing about downtowns in particular, and is, especially in economic climates like today, supporting locally owned business keeps that money in the economy locally. Other wonderful things about downtown restaurants, many of them are open 7 days a week during the daytime and nighttime. Many of them offer live entertainment throughout the week. And most importantly, I think right now, is they offer really hearty, delicious meals at really fair prices.
I think we have a checklist of all of the restaurants because we plan on doing a chamber zone from each of them.
I know,
right?
we're taping early in the morning, but I'm hungry all of a sudden. I don't know why. Divine Delicacies, Sharon's, which has a new menu as well. TK's Hot Dogs, we can't forget about that.
Right.
Chef's Pizzeria, over 20 restaurants
The
now.
Original Pals.
The Original Pals, of
Yeah.
course, in downtown Kingsport. In addition to downtown being a dining destination of choice, it's quickly becoming an entertainment destination of choice, Doug. And there's so much entertainment in downtown Kingsport now, especially at night, especially on the weekends. You're doing a lot here. You're also doing a lot with the Downtown Concert Series. Highlight all of that for us.
Well, you know, big part of what AdaptCore does is community-oriented redevelopment. So part of our strategy is feet on the street. And we saw that we had the ability to draw to downtown Kingsport and that folks would support live music. And music is always a great way to get people downtown. And the Twilight Alive series, after 3 years, has really been a big draw. And that starts back up this May. So we've already got, you know, the flow coming downtown to see live music. The grocery company has live music about 3 or 4 nights a week. The Tuesday night sessions down there, we called it open mic, but it's more Kingsport Grocery Company Unplugged. We've got folks like Tim Stafford, Mark Pruitt, Trey Hensley. They come down and play, and they bring their Nashville friends with them. So some nights you come down there, you'll see, you know, big Nashville names down there picking for the crowd. It's really been a big success. Back in the fall, the AdaptCore acquired the old bus barn next door. So we spent the past week penetrating the walls here, and we're going to expand this concept to include a music hall that will showcase bluegrass, outlaw country, the blues, music that goes with barbecue. So we're slated to look at that for an April opening, and then right behind that will come the State Theater, and that'll be the movies. It'll also have live shows, not anything in particular, but small production type stuff. And so basically now when you come down and eat, you'll also have some place to go afterwards to catch live music or catch a movie, and we start the mass of feet on the street,
Sure.
which is really where the success comes from.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, just a second. We don't want to forget the Downtown Concert Series, which
Definitely.
of course you all have been huge supporters of as well, and it looks like that there's another great slate that you all are working on for the coming year.
Yeah, we've got 12 shows scheduled for this year. They start right after, I guess it's the Friday or Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, and goes right through Labor Day. And we don't have the lineup quite nailed down yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you all know, and you can post it and folks can and check it out. But last year was just huge. We
Right.
had folks like Marty Stewart come down, and Broad Street from one end all the way up to the depot was just filled. We brought in a lot of bands last year, a mixed bag, but we had folks coming from Greenville, South Carolina, and Knoxville and Asheville to see the bands that were playing in Kingsport. So that's really been a big success.
Sure.
Bluegrass on Broad is also starting up at the same time, and every Friday they bring the local bluegrass bands downtown to pick for everybody. And one of the really interesting things about that is when it ends at 10 o'clock, nobody leaves.
That's
All
right.
of a sudden you
They
look at
want
all the
more,
alcoves
yeah.
downtown,
Yeah.
and there's the little groups of pickers everywhere. So, you know, like I said, we now have the ability to take downtown from 9 a.m. all the way to 2 a.m. You can literally stay downtown all day.
That's great.
I want to thank Tom Keller with TK's Hot Dogs
Yep.
for that as well. And, of course, another big entertainment event is the Racks by the Tracks, which I know you're hoping
That's
to
coming
bring
up
back
May
again, yeah.
16th, and it's a combination of a rib cook-off, a blues music festival, and a beer festival. We're going to showcase all of the microbrews that are available in the area. We're going to have our rib cook-off again, and last year that was just hugely popular. And this year we decided to go ahead and take the music in the direction of the blues. May is going to be Blues Month in Kingsport. The Arts Council's got their first weekend. They've got their blues concerts. Then we're going to fill in the rest of the month with blues shows, including Racks by the Track, and we've got Pine Top Perkins coming, Willie Big Eyed Smith, Bob Margolin. So it's going to be a real blues show, and we'll have about 20 microbreweries out there. It'll be a big draw.
That all sounds wonderful. Kanishka, if people want to follow what's going on, the Downtown Concert Series, Racks by the Tracks, follow the progress of all of the projects that you all have going on, where can they get more information?
Well, several resources. For the Downtown Concert Series, your viewers can visit twilightalive.com. For Racks by the Tracks, simply visit racksbythetracks.com.
Easy enough.
And there's a really fantastic new resource for downtown in general called experiencedowntown.kingsport.com.
Okay.
It's a comprehensive listing of all things arts, cultural and dining. It's got specials. You can sign up for a newsletter that comes out once a month and stay informed as far as all the events going on downtown Kingsport.
That's great. Great stuff.
Well, Kanishka Bendanda and Doug Beatty with so many companies, Adapt Corps, State Theater, Kingsport Grocery Company, Downtown Concert Series, Racks by the Tracks, Bonefire Smokehouse, where we're sitting today. Thank you for all you're doing for Kingsport, your leadership, your time, your huge investment. It's greatly appreciated. So much is happening in large part because of your all's leadership and vision and what you're doing.
And we appreciate your support and the public support. We wouldn't be able to do it if folks weren't coming downtown. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Stay tuned because we're going to have information from two outstanding Kingsport leaders right after this.
And welcome back to your Kingsport Chamber Zone, on location from the fabulous Bonefire Smokehouse here in downtown Kingsport.
And it is absolutely our privilege to be joined by the next two individuals who are outstanding members of the Kingsport community. Of course, I'm talking about Julie Bennett, who is your current chair of the Kingsport Chamber Board of Directors and also General Counsel with Bristol Motor Speedway. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, thanks.
And the very relaxed individual who is sitting next to me, and of course I'm not talking about Bob, would be Tom Seckelhorst, who is your immediate past chair of the Kingsport Chamber, hence the reason he's so relaxed. And Tom, of course, is also the Human Resources and Safety Manager at Domtar, and I think they're happy to have you back in that role now.
Well, I hope so, Laura. And thank you very much, and I'm happy to be back.
I hadn't seen you for about a year.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Tom, 2008 saw a lot of different changes going on, especially with the economy, but of course Kingsport was able to have a lot of great successes during your time as chair of the Kingsport Chamber. Highlight some of those for us.
Well, trust me, I had nothing to do with it, but I think one of the most exciting things that I saw in the year that I was chair was the redevelopment that's going on downtown with all the education facilities and the academic village, if you will, that's going on, and the announcements, and then all of the restaurants and retail and the loft apartments that you see developing in downtown. And it's neat to come to one of the downtown establishments and hear people talking about driving from one of our sister cities to Kingsport to dine and to shop. So
sure.
I think it's great.
That's great.
Tom, another record year, 2 years in a row for business investment in Kingsport. You've highlighted a number of these accomplishments during your speech at the Kingsport Chamber annual dinner, but what do you attribute all these successes? I mean, in addition to this show and the fact that you were chair this past year.
Of course.
Well, again, I don't think I had a whole lot to do with it, Bob. But
Well, don't take the credit away from us.
That's right.
Yeah, you two
We
were
won't,
very
you know.
instrumental in that. But I think city leadership, the city leadership is very, very progressive. The Board of Mayor and Aldermen and city management, they're doing such great and wonderful things and being courageous, as I alluded to in my speech, to make investments in the city, and I think that's it.
Now, Julie, I can't imagine that there were people in Kingsport who didn't actually come to the largest chamber dinner in the galaxy.
If there were, I want their names.
But at the annual dinner, you, of course, got to give your speech as the incoming chair, and you made a great analogy talking about the success of community and comparing that to a fisherman's net. Talk a little bit more about that for us.
I'll try to keep it a little shorter maybe than I did in my speech. But, I guess it's really all about being tied together. And, if you think about a fisherman's net and you've got all these knots and ropes and many different components that go together to make it up, but if any of them are weak, then the fish can slip right through. Well, that's kind of what Kingsport's like. I mean, we've got a really, really strong net. We've got a lot of really strong components, not just at the chamber, but also city leadership, as Tom alluded to. So, and lots of other community organizations that all kind of work together to make Kingsport as strong as it can be.
Right.
And as Tom highlighted, there is a lot of growth and development occurring on every front in Kingsport. And now as you take over as the new chair of the Kingsport Chamber, where do you see this community headed in the next year or two, especially given the fact that the national economy is suffering?
I think one of the really cool things about the work that's been going on in the past few years, and maybe even a little further back, is that we are so well positioned to work through the challenges that are going on in the economy right now. I mean, there's a lot going on nationally, but truthfully in Kingsport, we're pretty strong. I mean, there are things here and there, but for the most part, momentum is there, it's strong, it's good, and I think that, going forward, I really think that we're going to weather this very well, and I think that we're going to come out of it even stronger, even better, and one of the premier communities for people to be.
Tom, being chair of the Kingsport Chamber gives you a chance to see a lot of great things and experience a lot of great things, and undoubtedly the chairs always take away some very fond memories. So we want you to tell us, what are your fondest memories? And you don't have to count the times that you've been on the show, because we know that goes without being said.
And you've got that on, DVD to save forever. To look back on.
Right. I have some pretty strong memories about being on this show. I think probably some of the fondest memories are the groundbreakings and the ribbon cuttings. And there's 4 or 5 ribbon cuttings that really stand out in my mind, and most of them are, of course, education related. And then we had some pretty historic groundbreaking events in 2008 as well. So those are the ones that really stand out in my mind, because it just leads towards progress and people being courageous to make that huge step in either opening a business or opening an educational place or something like that. So that's what it is.
Now, Julie, as you step into the role of chair, what excites you about the job in the year ahead, and why do you do this? Because it is an immense amount of time, as Tom can tell you. Why do you volunteer so much of your time to the Kingsport community? And again, notwithstanding the fact that you get to come on the show.
That really was the main thing that made me say yes when I was asked about doing that.
She'd be the first to admit
aside from that obvious thing, really, everybody has their own reasons, and nothing I do is any more special than anything anybody else does. But for me, it's about, I grew up here, and this has always been home. But also, this is where my children go to school, and if our tax base and our businesses are strong, their educational opportunities are strong. And my parents live here, and so for them, they have the amenities and services available to those who are retired. So really, a strong business community is about everybody in the entire area. So I just wanted to keep it going. Great.
Well, your time and leadership for both of you is greatly appreciated. You both do a great job. Tom Segelhorst with Domtar and Julie Bennett with Bristol Motor Speedway. We should also add a word of thanks to both of your companies, Domtar and Bristol Motor Speedway, for allowing us to have you all and for all that they do for the community. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay tuned, because we come back, it's time to have a little bit of food here at Bonefire Smokehouse. Sound really good.
Ribs are great, and the smoked baked beans with them, and the macaroni and cheese is incredible.
Well, I got to have those deep fried baby bakers now.
Those are new, by the way. I hear. They're exceptional.
Well, Jeff made them sound fantastic. I mean, I think, and you can never go wrong with collard greens either.
No, and then just to top it off with some cheese spuds.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think it all.
Oh, that's right. We're still on, aren't we? Yes.
Hey, sorry, we got to close the episode.
We can't get to the food part yet. We'll make this quick. We want to thank you for joining us on this edition of your Kingsport Chamber Zone. We want to thank the great team at Bonefire Smokehouse, a fabulous restaurant here in downtown Kingsport, for hosting us today. And as always, the great team at Charter Media for producing our show.
We also want to thank our show sponsors, Eastman Chemical Company and Eastman Credit Union.
And the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center, and your law firm of Hunter, Smith & Davis.
Don't forget, for more information about all things downtown Kingsport, go to experiencedowntown.kingsport.com.
And for Bonefire Smokehouse, just go to bonefiresmokehouse.com. And for all of us with your Kingsport Chamber and your Kingsport Chamber Zone, we are very hungry, Bob and Laura, reminding you to please be loyal.
And buy local. Have a great week.
Let's see. Let's get some cheese spuds.
Well, broccoli salad?
Oh, yes.
What's the purple potato salad?
Just on top of your head.
Yeah.
Either Steven Spielberg or Conrad.
That's what you get for being late.
I can live with it. That's the best you can come up with.
Well,
start over.
We didn't have a whole lot of time.
Hey, let's just go Kingsport Chamber Zone. I should say the award-winning Kingsport Chamber Zone.
More than one.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to introduce you. Oh, you're taking a deep breath. I don't know. Why do we have to work with Conrad?